welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're our first real audience. So exciting. I mean, we've played it to human beings, but they've been human beings in various unions. And you?
Our audience, our real audience.
So thank you for coming. That people can finally go and see it. It's been a very, very long journey from when we both attached ourselves to this project 3, 4, 5 years ago as actors, to then me becoming the director in the end of, somewhere towards the end of 2014, to this moment now. It's been a long haul, and so much passion and love and time and commitment, and it's such a joy that people can come and see it now.
You never thought you would be the director, correct? There was someone else originally, and then you had the passion for it?
Yeah, the project was went through fits and starts. After we attached, Jennifer Connelly came on board, Dakota came on board, and I came on board as the actors. And then it went through several iterations. The second or third one with a director that lasted some months, and then yeah, when we were supposed to shoot in 2015 in March, and that director pulled out of the project in sort of November 2014, which is sort of dangerously close to the start date, and it felt at that point that it probably wouldn't happen. And it was around about then that I decided that I would suggest to Lakeshore Entertainment that they consider me as the director, and they did, and we pushed the dates to September in 2015 to give myself a little bit more time.
I want to ask you about the ending of the film for both of you. Who's the blonde?
Me. I'm a really big fan of the way that the film ends. I think it's a really brave way to end the film, and I think that Mary, there is a mystery about her at all the different phases that we see her. There's something that we as the viewer kind of can't quite understand, or there's something that her father can't quite understand, her mother can't quite understand. And so I think having it end and not really see her, and to have that sort of continued ambiguity of where she's been and where she is in her life, I can't imagine it ending it any other way, honestly.
Do you do a lot of soul searching as to why the character is a certain way? I mean, for example, is she very political, or is it mental illness that has driven her to where she is, or is it a combination of both?
No, I don't think that Mary is we can write her off as crazy or unstable. I really don't. I really think that she firmly, passionately believes in what she's talking about in the film. She's on that side of politics during this time. And I think that she totally 100% believes it. I don't think she's crazy. She may end up doing something, you know, radical or something that, you know, we don't agree with, a violent act, but I think that it comes from deep belief.
When she joins the religious group, would you say that she's maybe atoning for whatever sins, or for the bombing and for the killings, or how did you interpret that?
I think I interpret it a little bit like that. I think that it is a form of punishment. I think that because but I also think that mentally she doesn't really believe what she did was wrong. I think she still believes in what she did, and I think that that's what those scenes when she is a Jane, I mean, that's what she's saying to her father. But
London calls.
But I think there's some place in her mind that knows that maybe does regret what she did, or does understand that it wasn't right, or wishes that she hadn't have done it. And I think that the way that little part of her part of doubt in her brain manifests itself is by becoming a Jane and choosing to live that way.
Ewan, for the Swede, was he someone that you were able to get a handle on right away?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when I first read the script, I felt so deeply for all of the characters in the story, to be honest. I read John Romano's adaptation of the novel first, and lived with that for some years, because I was waiting to find out when we would shoot the movie in order to start, reading the novel, and I think this part of my preparation was to read the book, and as an actor, and I wanted to do that just before we shot the movie, and of course that date didn't come. So for some years I just lived with the script, and then round about the time when I was considering to be the director, I of course ploughed into his book, and then when I became the director, I feel like I lived in it for 9 months of the prep. I read it daily. There's a great recording of the novel by Ron Silver, the actor Ron Silver, and if I was driving or running or whatever, I would have Ron reading me the story. And but I feel like I fell for the Swede and understood who I felt like I wanted him to be from my first reading of the script. And then, of course, Roth's book is so full of rich details and thoughts and feelings, but it's also written from different people's perspectives. He presents lots of opinions about themes that he's exploring in the novel, and as I always felt as a reader, it doesn't push us in one direction or another, but leaves us to make our own minds up about certain things.
You learn a lot in the book about how to make gloves. I wonder if you, as an actor, had to do that. I mean, what for the Swede? I mean, is it something about putting on a certain clothing, or how did you find the character? I mean, how did you? Do you know what I mean?
I do. I mean, my answer is that I met him when I read the script. I think that's what happens to me when I